Hello friends, welcome back. I'm Yusuf, and recently I felt the need to update y'all on my life, to just chat and reconnect. So I asked y'all to ask me some questions over on my Patreon and also on my Instagram. So I went through all of them and kind of put together questions that were similar and grouped them according to topics. So today we will mainly be talking about how I've been feeling since moving and how I feel about living alone, and then mainly we'll be talking about relationships. It's such a big and deep topic, and I think a lot about relationships, growing up really struggling to feel like I can enjoy relationships, struggling in my communication in relationships. I've just felt so much curiosity growing up, like how do I have healthy relationships? How do I feel more secure? So yeah, we'll be tackling all of those questions. Also, thank you to Cheeks for sponsoring this video. I will be talking about them further along. So yeah, maybe grab yourself a tea, some water, some snacks, because I feel like I will be talking a lot. Okay, I want to start off with some just like check-in questions, because I've gotten a lot of questions about how I've been doing since the move. I moved here, I think 5 months ago, how I've been enjoying life in my new city, how Bourbon has reacted to the move. And I don't really leave my apartment much, but I've really enjoyed what I've seen so far, what I've experienced so far. My neighborhood, like exploring that on our walks, has been fun. It's been great. It's been a beautiful summer here, honestly. But I hope that I can say more about like the actual place and city and university in a couple of months or years, because I'm kind of planning to stay here until I graduate. So y'all can't really know this, but my dog is super anxious. I've put in a lot of attention towards his training and just making life as peaceful as possible for him. And I feel like perhaps it's like him getting older or also the move, but I feel like he's reached a new level of peace, and that's really beautiful to witness. So I would say moving here and like this apartment and the environment has had a positive impact on him. And then I've also gotten a lot of questions about how it's been living alone. Do I like it? What are the pros and cons of it? And for me personally, I've mentioned this before that I'm like a huge introvert and homebody. For me, living alone right now feels like the best option for me. I feel most like myself when I'm alone, and also I feel like having my own apartment and space is truly what I need right now in my healing journey, just a place to rejuvenate, and that is like fully mine, like fully my territory. Feels really good. I've actually thought about this. So I think the only way that I would actually enjoy living with other people or with another person would be that I would still have my own like rooms, so that I would have like my own bedroom and bed and perhaps like my own office. Because I'm such a sensitive person, I feel like that would really help me to have those spaces to retreat back into, so that I feel like I can handle living with other people. I found that interesting because a lot of times when you move in with other people, especially when you're dating, it's almost like not even a question whether you're going to be sharing a bedroom. It's like, obviously, right? And I've kind of questioned that for myself, and I don't think it would be an obviously for me. I think it would be fun to have our own bedrooms. So yeah, that's just something I've been thinking about. But right now, I do not have any plans of sharing an apartment with someone else, but that would definitely be a part of the discussion or like of the agreement. Let's talk about relationships. And I want to start this off by saying, or like by defining, the main theme in relationships for me and building good relationships has been nurturing my relationship with myself. So I will elaborate on this topic with the following questions. Someone asked me if I would be talking more about my sex life on Patreon in relation to like the topic being rather easily demonetized on YouTube. I think that can definitely be navigated, and I'm open to discussing this topic on all of my platforms because I love talking about sex and I love learning about it. I think the approach would rather be in an educational way than in a personal anecdote way. For example, answering your questions about it. I think as my interest in it and my curiosity has always been present growing up, but with a lack of sex education, I inevitably landed on traditional and unregulated resources for porn. And I realized so quickly, like, this is not it. Like, being on here is not a great experience. I'm not vibing and it feels so unsafe. I feel lucky that over the last couple of years, I found many ethical and safe sources for erotica and porn, which have empowered me and made me excited about this journey of learning more about myself. Such a safe space for sexual entertainment and education can be found on Cheeks, who I've mentioned at the beginning of this video. So Cheeks is a subscription-based sexual wellness platform with people of all sexual orientations and identities in mind. As I've mentioned, less ideal resources for this entertainment. What I value about Cheeks is how they guarantee their members a safe porn experience. So their content is ad-free and virus-free. I value their awareness for their responsibility concerning porn consumption, as well as their criteria for ethical porn production. To name a few, hiring of age performers, getting their full consent, contractually determining a fair and transparent pay, as well as not perpetuating harmful stereotypes in their content. I recommend Cheeks especially for their diversity of their content, as their members get access to authentic adult films, erotic audio stories, which I personally like, as well as educational content. So we have expert-led live workshops, we have tutorials, as well as their taboo breaking magazine. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, you can try out Cheeks for free for 7 days if you use my code 7YUSUF in selecting their annual subscription option. You can cancel this at any time during the trial or switch over to a monthly subscription. Again, you can use my code 7YUSUF to try out Cheeks for free. The link is going to be down in the description box. Thank you to Cheeks, and let's continue talking about relationships. Okay, so first of all, I got a couple of questions about the aspect of like meeting new people in a new environment and how I plan on socializing. So, I am personally open to meeting new people who come into my life due to circumstances. For example, at school, like maybe I'll make new friends at school. That would be awesome. But the thing is, with my personality, I don't actively seek out meeting new people. I feel I don't really have the capacity to manage like a really big group of friends, and I'd rather like stick to less people, but like putting that energy I have into maintaining those relationships. One question I wanted to answer here is how to stay grounded and true to yourself while meeting new people. And I think this also just applies in general, just like in the world of you and other people, interacting with them, staying true to yourself. It just strikes me because it's relevant to how I've been navigating my relationships. I would say my answer to that question is prioritizing my mental health, and what has helped me is learning how to set boundaries and effectively communicate those boundaries. For me, that's an ongoing learning process and something I'm constantly trying to implement. So yeah, I've been putting a lot of thought into this, how I can build healthy relationships, how I can feel more secure in them, and really let myself be myself in relationships, stay true to myself in relationships. Because for the majority of my life, I would just notice how my low self-worth, my mental health issues, and me not being able to communicate really made me suffer in relationships, or made the relationship suffer, and also developed at times unhealthy dynamics. So in an aspiration of being better at communicating and feeling more secure, I've just been trying to learn, experience, practice, and have grace with myself and others. So actually I wanted to share 2 books that have helped me in this journey of like getting some tools and understanding for navigating relationships. So first we have Attached. This book is about attachment styles and learning about my attachment style and what other attachment styles exist and how I can have a more secure attachment style has been super helpful. And then this book is a guide basically for setting boundaries, which I was not taught or shown healthy examples of this. So if you can relate to that, this book is a pretty good self-help book, guidebook. The next questions I kind of want to combine my answers for, because they are a part of my journey of learning about like different relationship approaches. So the first one is, how do I balance time for myself and my relationships? And the second one is whether I am polyamorous, because they've seen some of the books I've been reading. As I said, I think my answer is going to be kind of a mix of both questions together. Now, one idea that I don't agree with anymore is valuing some kinds of relationships more than others. So for example, it's pretty normal to view romantic relationships as more valuable, or kind of give them this hierarchy of being above other relationships and them having this power over other relationships. So this hierarchy can be seen as like, in your relationships, you can value romantic relationships more than platonic relationships, or even if you have multiple romantic relationships, that there would be hierarchies between those, which I also wouldn't agree with. So those are my first ideas that are such a big contrast to how I used to idealize romantic relationships. And I would say that's like one of the first symptoms that I recognized is so unhealthy for me and a symptom of my low self-esteem. So I guess I no longer believe in that idea of just having like this one person, soulmate out there. And have definitely been inspired by relationship anarchy in how I conduct my relationships right now, all autonomously from each other. And like the only relationship that I commit to above all others and like has power over my other relationships is the one I have with myself. So therefore, when it comes to balancing my relationships, right, and how I spend my time, it's not balanced. I spend most of my time with myself by choice, and for me, or I believe that helps me also show up to be a better friend and a better partner. And then leaning more into how I feel about polyamory, I can start from the perspective of inspecting monogamy for myself. And first of all, I learned that there are so many different approaches to relationships, and also that you can't just say, also that when someone uses the term, for example, polyamorous, they can still conduct their relationships in so many different ways. So yeah, it just includes a lot more. There's just a lot to learn about this world, but my main takeaway from inspecting what my relationship values are and inspecting monogamy for myself is that I value a proactive communication about the relationship that allows the relationship to be what suits us best at the moment, and that also allows it to evolve over time. I guess I can go as far as to say that if someone has inspected monogamy and decided that that's what they want, that's pretty clear for me to be like, okay, I would not date that person because we want different things. There's just so much that this topic encapsulates, so it's difficult for me to kind of like bundle it up in like an efficient answer, you know? But I would say that the conversation is definitely nuanced. It's not just, okay, monogamy versus non-monogamy. Like obviously, so many different relationship approaches coexist, and I actually feel like it's a lot more about just meeting someone at where they are and having a good communication that is upfront and honest and transparent about what you want. And I feel like that's how you're going to find people who you match with, like in terms of values, and can connect with and build healthy relationships with, no matter how you label them in the end, right? It's truly always going to be a matter of just the two people, or like however many people you're in one relationship with. So that's that. I wanted to round off this topic with recommending or like sharing to people whose ideas about polyamory and consensual non-monogamy I like hearing about. So the first one would be Ro. Ro's Instagram is unapologetically, and then Leanne. Leanne's Instagram is polyphilia blog. So yeah, if you're open to hearing more about that, go check out their Instagrams for that content. It's a different time, it's a different place. I filmed an outro, but I wasn't focused. So here we are, and to round off this Q&A, I really enjoyed talking about these topics. I tried to give enough context for these conversations in answering your questions, because truly these are just my approaches for relationships and friendships, what I think right now, and they are definitely going to evolve. So maybe I was able to like give you some ideas or thoughts to ponder and continue and perhaps implement in your journey of being a human and loving other humans and connecting. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I know that I need to be talking more and like doing more Q&As because it's so much fun for me. Whoa, there's a storm going on right now. Yeah, this is so much fun for me, and when I film videos with a certain topic and concept, I always talk too much. That's like my opinion of it. But maybe I should just give myself more concepts and spaces to just talk. I think a lot of it is also confidence. Like I've lost confidence from like sharing my ideas and opinions over the years, with just realizing that I don't really know anything. You know, like when I would talk about certain topics like psychology and love, when I was younger, I just didn't know. Like I didn't know how much I didn't know. And now I do know, and it makes me sometimes afraid to talk, to look like I don't know what I'm talking about. That's okay. Like that's, I guess, another lesson that I'm learning. It's okay. It's okay to disagree, and it's okay to learn. And yeah, just more grace for myself. So anyways, we're ending the Q&A. I will see you around very soon, and until then, peace you.